Okay, this is how I tend to make my mods. I'll be starting directly from scratch. So the first thing I do, we need to be able to export the game's textures, or the texture wraps, or whatever you want to call them. So you want to search up UModel. Then you are going to go to their website, probably the English one. Going to download. Going to get the Windows 32 version. Going to save it into here. And then now you're going to want to open the folder, and you're going to want to extract it. Okay, so now you've done that, the tool I use to edit it is at getpaint.net. Download, you go here, click this, click this. I don't want to download it because I already have it. I also already have UModel, but it's a pain to install. You're gonna want to you want to extract that, as I've done here. You can do the dip, and I'm gonna want to open this. Now you're gonna click override game protection, Unreal Engine 4, and I'm gonna scroll down. State of Decay 2. Then you're gonna want to go to your unpack. You're gonna want to select this content folder. Gonna want to give it a second. Sometimes it takes a little while. What you don't want to do is you don't want to select something here, because if you highlight something white, it will pause this. I'm fairly certain. So you don't want to do that. There we go. Now you're gonna want to go into art. So you can use pretty much any texture. Some might look a bit weird, and they don't actually have one in the game because some other third-party color rendering process. So you'll have to do something else for that. You just have to really mess around with it. So most of the time you have files like this. Sometimes you have a texture folder here, and there's multiple types of a weapon, but most of them are just like that. So the M4A1. So this will be your gun's model, which modifying right now isn't possible, but hopefully in the near future. Now this is just a gun's model. Doesn't have any magazines on it. If you're going to do magazines, they'll be in weapons and then mod depot somewhere. The int file is the material. Again, we can't modify this and we can't actually open it. Now it's a file. You'll see it's low quality. I'll explain that in a second. But this is what actually wraps around the weapon, kinda. Like wrapping paper on a parcel. And there's also this, which is the indent map, as in where the weapon looks like it has bumps up and down. And then the grime map shows how dirty it is. If you set this all to the background colour, it will be shiny, as if you set all of this to the background colour, it will be flat. Now, you're going to want to export this folder. You tend to, if you're editing models, you're going to want it in GLTF. I like PNG personally. And it should export into the same area with your UModel path. Then you're going to want to click OK. And look, it's exported here. Let's go here, we should see UModel export, art, weapons, it's M4A1. Here, this is just a random bin file. Doesn't really matter. It may not be a default tool to open. That may not be your default tool to open PNGs, paint.net, so you're going to want to open it once you go here. Going to find your file. And then these are the three you want to edit. Okay. So now, this is the map. So let's say, if you select K, or no, is it K? Yes, K. No, it's 4 S's. So, well, or just select this one. Now, this is tolerance. So this magic wand is really helpful when editing paint.net. This is how much it will select. And you can use this a lot. So if I turn this down a bit, it will only select more. And if I want to select a small bit, I can click, and then I hold control on that. I can select again, and then select again. But in this case, and the filter also adds tolerance. In this case, we just want to be use background color, so we can simply grab this, click this, put this up to 100, and then we can save this. That's just a preview, doesn't really matter. So that'll be tolerance. And then if you want to do the same with indents, you can do that. Now this is actually what wraps around, but if you've noticed, it's very small. So you can resize this as long as you have maintain aspect ratio on. You can set this to any number really, so let's say 1000 pixels by 1000 pixels. And you need to make sure when resizing you have nearest neighbour on, because otherwise it will look, if we go back to it, try resize with, I believe the default is bigger, I can't speak, I don't know how to pronounce that, but if we try to pronounce this to if we try to put this to 1000, it will look funky, because it anti-aliases, but we don't want it to anti-alias. So if we go back here, resize, nearest neighbour, 1000. There we go. Now this is the background, so if we wanted to select the background, also when filling, you want anti-aliasing off. You click this here, then you want to say anti-aliasing disabled. So my way of editing weapons is picking up the background. So if we want to put a completely different thing behind it, like, let's say I'll put a galaxy texture behind this. So I tend to copy this onto a new layer above it. And then if I hide this layer, we can see what I've copied for now. If you don't want to do that, you can simply copy it to that new layer. Then you can select your magic wand tool. You can delete the background. Let's hide this temporarily. You can delete the background stuff. And yeah. And then what you can do here, you can image or adjustment, saturation. I have some plugins for this. You don't need only plugins, but let's say I want to change this to be very. Some stuff doesn't really have much colour, but if I want it to be like that, I can just mess around with that. But if I don't want to do this and I just want to put a completely different texture around it, I went back to way too far. So we've got to put in a new texture. Now we hide this, we just got that. We can delete this, and then now you're going to get a new texture. So let's say I want a wood texture. If I get up a wood texture, I can grab this, copy the image, put it here, and then if you want to resize things without them looking funky, as in it'll resize to scale, you can hold shift and look, because otherwise if I do it, I can do like that and I can make it look really wonky. But otherwise if I just shift, it's like that. And now this would be, you need to make sure you cover up all these transparent bits. And this is this would be your wooden thing. I keep stuttering today. And then, oh yeah, you're going to want to click merge layer down while on the top one. And it'll merge it down. And then you can save this. You can close this. Now, you have these three here. And you can, so now you're going to need Unreal Engine 4.13.2 if I open up Epic Games. We don't need UModel anymore, I'm going to close that down. Epic Games Launcher, which takes ages. I believe you add this or something, about the DX12 fix. You'll need to add it onto a shortcut when launching it, because otherwise it causes some weird funky thing. Can't remember, someone else helped me do this, but you add this, otherwise like some buttons won't work. So if you have that problem, it's not in library, it's in Unreal Engine. And learn. Oh no, you don't need learn. So I have 4.13.2, that's the version you're going to want to use. And then you're going to launch it up. You're going to want to see your textures here. Now, you see these, you're going to want to remember this path from Art, Weapons, Assault M4A1. I already have the whole weapon path in there, so I won't need to make it. But we're going to have to import it in the same folder structure as whatever you exported. Like when making a mod with UA asset files, you can't just chuck it in any folder. You have to do the correct folder structure. Going to some time to launch, taking a while. Oh, there we go.
Mic off. Mic on.
Okay, so now it's going to bring up the project browser. Now you're going to want to open a project called State of Decay 2. Open this. So now I already have a bunch of files in here, so you won't usually have these, but you're just going to go to the path. I already have some files here, so I'll delete these. So once you go here, you're going to click import. You're going to want to go into the files we exported, and this is in the right folder path, remember to check. Alright, so ignore this. And then you're going to want to open up all of these in here. You want to change it to clamp. This is very important, or the game won't actually read it properly. I haven't launched it with my shortcut, so when you see buttons not working properly, that's because of that. Yep, being a pain, are we? Clamps, okay. Now, once all these are saved and clamped, you're going to want to... I hate it when it does this, okay. And then you're going to want to cook content for Windows. Oh, you need to make sure you save them, and they're clamped. Right. You're going to want to wait for this to finish. Now. The more files you have, I believe it will take longer for. And I have lots of other files in there, which I'll say about them. Okay. Now, you're going to want to go into your folder, Documents, Unreal Projects, DK2 project, your Save project, your Cook project, your Windows No Editor, and then, so this is going to be a cook file. Most mods for this game are in pack due to more convenience, but we can package this. So these are other guns I modded. You won't usually, or lots of these other files. Really, all you'll probably have to delete is the engine file there, but I have loads of other excess files. Some are cooked, Windows No Editor, delete the engine file, content art, should look something like this. You won't have a U-bulk file. You don't need to separate them. That's just an option I have on. Some you have to modify something in the ini files, but that's not necessary most of the time, unless the game does some weird update. And then you can open up the assets. The clamped assets, when opened, should say TA clamp, and then you can package this. You can, or you can keep as cooks. Alright, if you're going to release any more, they're going to have to be in packs. But for testing, oh, I went in the wrong area. For testing, packs tend to be easier. So cooked. Oh wait, no. Okay, right. There we go. And then you can name your mod. I believe I have some pack files already in where's my pack shortcut? I'm being blind. There it is. Yeah, I just have a dev menu in as well. Helpfulness. I just replaced the other mod. That was the mod I was doing earlier. And then now you can launch up your game. What I noticed is when you tend to put in these mods, I feel like they slow down the loading times by a small bit for community loading. It's not by a lot, but, and it may be completely wrong, but that's what I've noticed myself. Don't know why. Maybe it's because when you change resolution of a texture, but anyway. It can crash here at some point. That means you probably broke something. Most of the time, it's probably you forgot to clamp something, or you put in a wonky file which wasn't the correct aspect ratio, or whatever. And then you're gonna want to go into here. I already have an M4A1 on the floor here. Take it. I'm going to equip it. And you can see we have a wooden shiny flat AK. So, and then you can drop that pack in there. Yeah, that's how I tend to do my mods, and yeah, I'd love to see what other people can do with the ideas. Anyway, well,